Tom Downey for Chat Sports here with a fresh 2026 NFL mock draft. The trade deadline is over. It was a crazy one. The first-round draft order has changed thanks to the Sauce Gardner trade. So we're going to break it down based on the current NFL draft order going into Thursday Night Football this week to keep it consistent. If you guys want more NFL mock drafts in the future, which you can't come out of the draft order, by the way, because it's not mine. It's just the current order. Hit that sub button so you don't miss out. YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV. Number one, the Saints. If they're picking one, they need a quarterback, even though they took a top 40 pick on one. Fernando Mendoza. I like a lot of what he does. I don't think he's got like top 5 quarterback talent upside. I think he could be top 12, top 10 though. Does have a good arm, pretty accurate, has been very impressive this year for Indiana. Won't go quarterback with Tennessee just taking one in Cam Ward. They'll have a new coaching staff. How about Rueben Bain? Pain for Bain. It might need to be the mindset for the Tennessee Titans the rest of the season. Getting a high-end edge who is probably a top 3 or 4 minimum player in this year's NFL draft is a good option at number 2. Trade down, also viable. Number 3, the Jets, who might end up with the number 1 overall pick when it's all said and done, given their clear and obvious rebuild right now. I love what I've seen from Ty Simpson. He consistently makes some high-level throws, oftentimes in the biggest moments. He wasn't even that bad in Bama's first loss of the year against Florida State. Older prospect relative to his years played. Very talented, though, and I think does have the ability to, as a coach's kid, be an instant starter for a team that they badly need a franchise QB. They have the assets to go get one now. Number 4, out of Ohio State, Arvell, Reese, the Miami Dolphins. I'll be honest, I didn't really know who to give Miami. I feel like the secondary is a bigger need, the corner in particular, but there's not a corner we're taking inside the top 5. So I gave them Arvell, Reese. I love what I have seen from the Ohio State product this year as a coverage player, which he doesn't do that much of because he is so dynamic as a pass rusher. I kind of get Jalen Walker, but better vibes from Arvell Reese, which kind of puts him in the Micah Parsons territory, if we're being honest here. Reese has been one of the most impressive players in all of college football this season. I think you can make a very real argument he is the best player as we sit right now for the 2026 NFL Draft. He has superstar potential, and I would be a little surprised, barring a quarterback run, if he doesn't go in the top 5. That is how good he has been this season. Who do you think is the best player in the 2026 NFL Draft? Let me know at the pinned comment of today's video. Number 5, I kind of let Marshall Green and / his commenters pick this one. Jordyn Tyson. Thought about offensive line. That is very viable, of course, as well. Pairing him with Malik Neighbors to give Jackson Dart 2 actual wide receivers is what they should be doing. It's all about making Jackson Dart work in New York. I went with Spencer Fano here out of Utah. I thought about quarterback as well. I don't have a great feel for what the Browns' plan is going to be. They very well could be a quarterback team. Fano could play left tackle or right tackle. Replacing Christian Wilkins, finally, Peter Woods out of Clemson. The Clemson guys in general have not been as good as I thought they were going to be this season. But Woods, I think, still fits very well as a 3 technique and something the Raiders need up front. The next 2 picks, starting at number 8, may or may not be the biggest need for their respective teams, but I think you can argue they are the 2 best players on the board. Caleb Downs for the Bengals. You guys watch their safeties try to make plays and tackle? They stink. Caleb Downs, it's a safety. There is positional value stuff. I get all of that. Just watch the games and tell me he's not a top 5 independent of position boost player in this year's class. He would be a massive addition for a Bengals defense that needs talent, needs impact. Caleb Downs brings that in spades. Today's show is made possible by Omaha Steaks. Omaha Steaks is the official sponsor of tailgating. And with this exclusive offer, you can get $35 off at omahasteaks.com with promo code NFL Daily at checkout. Terms apply. See site for details. I believe in cooking my steaks medium rare. I think that is the best way to go about it. And you want a high-quality steak to maximize that. And that is what Omaha Steaks brings. They offer unrivaled quality and variety. Every bite is backed by their 100% guarantee. Every steak is perfectly aged to maximize tenderness, hand-cut by master butchers in America's heartland. It's not just steaks, by the way. They offer franks and chicken and even some desserts as well. Make game day delicious with the official sponsor of tailgating. Visit omahasteaks.com and get $35 off with promo code NFL Daily at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com and promo code NFL Daily at checkout. Terms apply. See site for details. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. The Commanders at 9, and I have been impressed, relatively speaking, by Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Bill Krosky-Merritt, although the last couple games he has very much slowed down. He hasn't actually averaged above 4 yards per carry in a game in almost, in fact, over an entire month. 4 straight games of 3.6 or lower. Outside of a couple big plays, he hasn't actually been very efficient. Jeremiah Love, I think, is one of the top 5, 6 players in this year's class. I get positional value is perfectly reasonable. The class's top-end talent in general isn't great and makes me think that guys like Downs and Love could go a little bit earlier than maybe they would have in last year's class, for example. The Ravens at 10, we'll see if they stay there or if they get hot down the stretch here. TJ Parker, again, what hasn't been as good of a year for Parker. I think he's been a bit better as of late, but adding an edge to replace Adafeowe certainly makes sense. The Rams at 11. Let's play with some house money here. How about Dante Moore? And I don't know if he goes pro. In fact, none of the guys, or I should say Simpson and Moore, don't have to go pro if they don't want to. But I think Rams might not bring back Matthew Stafford this year. After this year. And if they don't, drafting a young QB like Moore to just thrive in the Sean McVay offense with the Falcons pick is actually really good asset management. How many quarterbacks do you think go in round 1 of the 2026 NFL draft? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. How many QBs do you think go in round 1? Number 12 is Mekhi Lemon, the USC wide receiver. Pairing him with Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride is a lot of fun for whoever the Cardinals quarterback is next year, because I don't think it's going to be Kyler Murray. And I almost put a quarterback on here, but the Rams sniped him. 13, the Texans. I actually thought about, like, if Jeremiah Love was here, this probably would have been the pick. Francis Mauigoa, the Miami tackle, right tackle, maybe move on from Titus Howard. The offensive line remains a huge issue in Houston. Keldrick Falk hasn't been wildly productive, but the traits of just like, he's big, he's athletic, he can stop the run, he can blitz the passer. The Cowboys like those guys. He can be what Marshawn Nealand was supposed to be when the Cowboys, I argued, reached on him. Jamal McCoy, haven't seen him play yet this year. I hope we get to, because I think he is an extremely talented football player. I don't know if he's going to. The latest update was, I will see, doing the rehab, no timetable, maybe he gets back down the stretch, but they're not put a timeline on it. He might not play this year. He was awesome last year, though, and the Vikings could use it into the corner on the outside. I'll be honest, Panthers fans, if you like the pick, I get it. I didn't have a great feel for it, because I don't think they're going to take another edge. They took 2 last year. I've actually liked what I've seen from Nick Scorton at times this year. A little early for C.J. Allen, but I think they need a dude in the middle. And I think Allen, on a Georgia team that hasn't been as good defensively maybe in years past, I think fits very, very well with what they want to do long term. Number 17, why not just replace Travis Kelce with Kenyon Sadiq? Is that cheating for Kansas City? I doubt they pick 17 when it's all said and done, though. David Bailey, the Texas Tech edge rusher, wildly productive. Maybe not the biggest guy. Might be kind of limited to, I think he might actually be a better prospect, but like the Bruce Irvin role of like he just pass rushes and doesn't do that much against the run, but super productive this year for Texas Tech. That's the Stanford transfer. Browns get Carnell Tate at number 19. So whether it's Shadur or a veteran or they try again with Dylan Gabriel, a tackle and a wide receiver helps them out quite a bit right there. And plus, you get to keep the Ohio State kid in state. And I know Browns fans like it when that happens. Go cornerback for Pittsburgh here. Mansour Delane. I don't have any more quarterbacks in this mock draft. I think Lenore Sellers is going back to school. So I'm not. I didn't put him in here. I love Delane. He has been awesome for LSU, even though they've had so many issues so far this season. Maybe a slight cool down because he was so hot to begin the year. But another starting outside guy is needed for Pittsburgh with Joey Porter Jr. long term. LT Overton, not my favorite edge left on the board. We'll get to that guy here in just a little bit, in a couple of picks. But I think he fits very well with what the Lions want to do. Can do some inside-outside stuff, which I think they could use on pass rushing downs. Alabama very much in the college football playoff hunt this year. So who wins the college football playoff? Let me know in the comments section of today's show who wins the college football playoff. All right, Viga Ioane, the Penn State guard, who I think could replace Zion Johnson for the Chargers. Thought about run stopper too, but please protect Justin Herbert. It's not all LA's fault. They've had so many injuries, but keep throwing assets at it. Caden Proctor at times looks like the best offensive tackle in college football, and at times looks bad. Super inconsistent. Chance he has to be a guard in the NFL. Might not be a one-to-one fit for Kyle Shanahan, but the talent is there. It's just, can we make sure he's not Evan Neal 2.0? Avion Terrell, another Clemson player here who hasn't been as good as I thought he was going to be because the entire team has stunk this year. Cowboys have Deron Bland under contract. We'll see how Savone Rebel fares. I think another outside guy would be needed. One of my favorite edges this year is Cassius Howe. And if you've watched him at A&M, you know why. He's awesome at football. This is a player who will be, I don't know about overthought, but will be dinged because he doesn't have long arms. They're sub 31 inches. And in, this decade, the list of sub 31-inch arm pass rushers doesn't exist. Mostly because if you don't have long arms, you're really not talented enough anyway. He's the exception. Someone will get a very talented pass rusher that'll bet against the traits, at least the arm length traits. Sonny Styles out of Ohio State to the Seahawks here. I kind of just want to see one more good impact linebacker for Mike McDonald. I just want to see it happen. I don't love the safety options, but I think it'd be really fun to see another deep end back safety to pair with Nickem and Worry too. Rams, I'll go Caleb Lomu. He's kind of been a disappointment for me this year. He hasn't been as good as I thought he was going to be, but I do think protecting whoever the quarterback is a very good idea. Chris Bell, height, weight, speed profile guy. You pair him with Cortland Sutton as receivers, and I think it's really interesting. Denver did try to get Jalen Waddle, but the first and change was too much. Not everyone loves Anthony Hill. I see a lot of good traits on film. I see some blitzing ability. I think he would thrive in a Todd Bowles defense. Of you don't always love him in coverage and space, we'll just blitz him. And Todd Bowles will do that. I think he fits really well in Tampa. That's one of my favorite early player team fits. Patriots are Mason Thomas, the edge out of Oklahoma. Would have been Chris Bell if he had fallen there. Again, this is not everyone's cup of tea. He is not the biggest guy, but he can get after the quarterback. And back into round one, taking those traitsy guys makes sense. Colton Hood, Eagles, get a corner. Thought about receiver. I wouldn't totally rule that one out, but the other Tennessee corner has been pretty good so far this season. And, we'll see how long Michael Carter and Jair Alexander are there, but getting another outside guy so you can let DeJean thrive in the slot, it fits. With Quinn Williams off to Dallas, the pick from the Colts, the Jets take Cade McDonald. He's been, really good as a run stopper this year. I think he's been a huge factor in why Ohio State has been so good up front against the run and part of the best defense, arguably, in college football. Not the greatest pass rusher, but, the Jets have a lot of first-round picks to play around with. Just go add talented players. I left people out of the mock draft. That's how it always goes. We'll get to the round 2 picks for you 4 teams that don't have a first-rounder. But who did I leave out of my 2026 NFL mock draft? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Falcons, honestly, beyond Drake London, I don't like their receiving core. I think adding another piece on the outside to help out Michael Penix is actually a very good idea. Denzel Boston, fringe round 1 guy out of Washington. Jags get a safety. Thought about DT since they were in on Quinn Williams as well, but they just didn't have the assets because of the Travis Hunter trade. Dylan Thieneman out of Oregon. I like him. I think this is kind of a decent safety class overall, by the way. D'Angelo Pons, the cornerback out of Indiana. This is probably a little bit early for him for where he'll actually go because the NFL hates small corners. I don't care. Give me, speaking of Jags, give me a Jordan Lewis type. I don't care if you're undersized, if you got that dog in you. And Pons has that dog in him. I am a huge fan of the way he plays. 64, the Colts. I went with Whit Weeks. I don't know if he's going to go pro. There's a chance with him being banged up. He goes back to school now. But I think he's been, when healthy, a huge piece for that LSU defense. And they've been low-key bad without him.